We good?
Yes, and I would bring the equipment with you
Thanks.
if you need to change anything mid-meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Also, I think if you go to view in the top right corner, there's a full screen option. Gets rid of the menu bar and is just clear. Yes, the bottom one.
This one?
Yep, bingo. I think that is it. Thank you. Yes.
There's no slide like that.
Yep.
Be something new. First.
How have you been doing?
Been doing well, it's been a busy summer, a lot of projects going on at work, and then my daughter had a track meet out in Eugene, Oregon, so we went out there and. My wife had a teaching conference in Las Vegas the following week. Oh, don't worry. So we decided it was better to rent a car, drive down the coast of California to Las Vegas, and it was a long trip. That means she qualified for the USA Pan Am team. Congratulations. So I ended up going the following week to Puerto Rico for that meet. So it's been whirlwind last month.
That's pretty impressive.
What did she run?
Yeah.
What-
She's early on, but yes.
Okay. What grade is she in?
In the senior at Wilmington North.
Okay, so if she's doing this well, she must be have scholarship
She
opportunity.
committed to Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right
I was just
colors.
like, spending all this money on trips, you gotta get that
Right,
scholarship.
yeah,
Congratulations, wow.
thank you.
Awesome. Where were you in Puerto Rico?
Mine was on the west coast.
Okay, my boys and I went down there for San Juan for spring break.
We drove over to San Juan. It's like a 2-hour drive or something. We drive across the whole island.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, our condo was actually probably about 45 minutes east of San Juan.
Oh, nice.
There are walnuts everywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's in a dam up in the rainforest.
Yeah,
Anything else that I want to do while I'm on my laptop, it's just leave that.
Neat place.
it is.
Well, good for her.
Will also need to be promoted as panelist on your personal login to be able to share. That makes sense.
I think I just made your computer co-host, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, because even one of these in there twice, so.
Is it me? That's. No, I'm Joe W.
Okay, all right, mine's up there now. All right, cool.
That's the.
All right, so I'll be conducting the meeting today, just help pick up the skills in case Joe needs to delegate one day. And I know Paul's on his way, he texted he's on his way, should we wait for him? Or don't know how long he'd take.
Give it a minute or two as you see fit.
Okay,
I'll
I'll get myself a little more situated and then start.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll note that your personal login is also named meeting room 100 feet right now, right? So it must be something with Zoom. I don't.
That happened to you all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I still don't understand it, but that's precisely what I experienced in the past. Do you know how to
I mean,
change
maybe
it?
that's because you
I
put
got
your
it.
email up there,
Okay.
that when you log into Zoom under your email.
Got it. Theory.
I didn't realize till today that's what you were doing.
Right, they're associated.
And I actually never shared my screen on Zoom
Oh.
before.
So, right on the bottom. If you, so if you open the Zoom, yeah. Share it.
Brad, how the first couple weeks of school been for you?
It's been really good, really. Yeah. Trying to protect. Yeah, last couple of years,
Boys, about 25 minutes late. I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday, but other than that,
yeah.
yeah, but we've done pretty much on time, they said.
Good evening, everyone. I'll call the order. This evening's meeting with the Solid Waste Management District's Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. This is our third Thursday in August of our August regular meeting. Today is August 17th, 2023 at 5:32 p.m. Joe, do you want to be roll call, or would you like?
Yes, I can. I was actually just pulling it up because I realized that would be my role in this particular case. We need 5 more seconds at the roster. All right. Got Swinia here, John Arnold, present, Matt Austin, present, Ryan Edwards,
Here.
Bill Goyce,
Present.
Bradley Lucas,
Here.
Paul White. All right, you have forum.
Wonderful. Okay, so up on the screen here is our copy of the agenda for the evening. It was in the agenda packet that was sent out earlier this week. Are there any objections? And to the agenda as shown? No, is it presentation planning? Did you roll that over to the stuff?
Yeah.
That is, okay. I don't remember if that was a mistake on my part or not. Okay.
All good.
Hearing no objections, the agenda is adopted. And Tom, are you ready for the board report?
We have the joint minutes on first.
Oh, wait to do, sorry, thank you. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I haven't done
No,
a
you're
meeting for a
fine.
while.
You're doing great, you're doing great.
Thanks. Okay, so we'll move on to approving the meeting minutes from our joint VOD CAC meeting from July 13th. And if everyone's had a chance to review that from our packet. Joe, do you know how I'm able to navigate my screen here?
On your device or on the?
Yeah, I wanted to scroll up to the meeting.
Oh, I see, yeah, it's
I
just
was doing
a
it,
second,
it'll
yeah.
just have a delay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, did everyone have a chance to review and are there any comments? Changes to the joint meeting minutes? Okay, then, seeing none, the agenda is adopted, as is. We'll be going over the meeting minutes from our last meeting next month. Just so you guys have enough time to review them, because I got them in a little bit late. So we'll do that next month.
Right, just
Yes.
on the joint meeting, just for the record, because it is a joint meeting, so that if the CAC approves them at this meeting, they will then go to the board for their review and approval. And it's historically, there, we have some board members that are real particular about punctuation, and so they may come back with some grammatical or typographical corrections to what you've looked at tonight. But if there are any substantive changes made to the minutes by the board for their approval, then they would then come back to the CAC for a second review and approval.
Thank you, Tom.
If I may also make one note, just that you had noted that the agenda was adopted and not that the minutes were approved.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
For posterity.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, and so more officially, the joint VOD CAC meeting minutes from July 13th are approved as given. Okay, thank you. Tom, are you ready for your report? No, sorry.
I don't know if I'm ever ready, but money through, so. Well, yeah, I think, let's see, For those that didn't see, our board approved the budget as originally presented in essence at their meeting. After our budget workshop with DLGF, there were some changes made to the tax revenue that ultimately resulted in about a $22,000 decrease in proposed tax revenue. The bulk of that comes from the tax cap, the circuit breaker, that for 2024 for us was projected to be $20,200. None of our expenses changed, but so it was a just under $50,000 deficit budget is what the board approved. And again, the bulk of that difference in the deficit, increase in the deficit is from the circuit breaker being applied to the tax revenue. So the deficit amount is insignificant to us given our current cash reserve balance. So and as we've discussed before, that deficit is there because of the request for a $50,000 appropriation to have funding available next year to try to do something related to food waste collection and composting that we're still investigating. So hopefully we find something that works and we have that money available to start moving something forward. So the next steps, we are scheduled to go before the county council on September 14th for budget hearing. And then I think October 3rd, I think is that's a Tuesday, will be the first reading of our budget. And then October 17th would be the second reading and vote for adoption of our budget by the county council. So that's the schedule for that. I don't anticipate any issues getting it through the county council at this point, so should be okay. And then for those that didn't see, an email went out this morning. The board meeting scheduled for September 14th has been canceled. Obviously, the Nat U Hill Room is not available because they're doing the budget hearings in there. We also discussed this at the last executive committee meeting, and at this time, there's nothing pressing that needs the board's attention or decision at this time. There's no issues for the board to consider that couldn't be put off until October. So, if something should come up, we'll schedule a special meeting of the board as needed. Otherwise, the October meeting will be their next meeting. And then I think we've talked the past couple of months. We've had some staff turnover. We're still working our way through those. Part of that is due to the district has a policy to look at internal candidates before external candidates. So when you start filling positions internally, a domino effect is created, with extends the time it takes to get back up to to the appropriate adequate staffing. But I think we currently have advertised one open materials handler position, and once we get that filled, we'll be at our desired and budgeted staffing level moving forward. So, but in the meantime, we've got relief operators and people filling in, and we're picking up the slack, making sure we're getting everything done. And thus far, through all of the turnover issues, we have not had any issues with vision or program. I've been working with Sean Mia from the city of Bloomington. They're from their Office of Economic and Sustainable Development at food waste collection and composting options. The city is also very interested in finding something to take over for what we lost with Earthkeeper ceasing operations. And we've had some good communication with a company out of Indianapolis called Earth Mama Compost, and there is some interest in expanding their operations down into this area. The biggest hurdle there is there's not a local option to take the material to. We're looking through all that. there seems to be interest on the city's side and expressed from some of our board members, that, enough interest in this, that, subsidizing something for, in the temporary term to get the services up and running here, is something both our board and the city would consider doing. So, hopefully we can get some things on that front here in the near future, and get that back going, at least in to some degree, maybe not to the same level that Earthkeepers stopped at, but we got to start somewhere. There's a agenda item for rebranding. That's probably all that I have at this point.
Well, one thing I was wondering is the focus on all types of food waste or just primarily commercial, or is meant to completely replace?
Well,
It's a
again,
focus.
that depends on probably who we get connected with to provide the service down here and what their capabilities are, what they're set up to do. I know that the Earth Mama Compost we've talked to does both residential and commercial up in the Indianapolis area. But they're pretty strict on the commercial entities because of the larger potential for contamination on that side. But what we're looking at anything and everything. The goal is both residential and commercial, but we also want to get something going. If that means we start with just residential or just commercial, that's what that means. The goal is to get something going down here, and if it's not at the same level that Earthkeepers stopped at, work to grow it back to that level.
Thank you. Moving on to the chair, do you have a report, Joe?
I do want to ask a question as well. Just have an opportunity for other questions for Tom.
Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Oh, have you identified any other prospects in that whole arena in terms of other potential haulers or providers, or is Earth Mama the only one that's?
Earth Mama is the only one that we've made contact with. Sean did find 3 other entities, again, in the Indianapolis area, that I have reached out to just earlier this week, and I've not gotten any responses from. One of them, in looking at their website, I don't know, looks to be a sole proprietor, single person operation. So I don't know that they're set up to do the kind of expansion we would be asking of them. But the other 2 possibly. We just have to see if they respond and they have an interest. And if so, if we have multiple entities that look like they might be interested in doing this, it would probably be a situation where we would issue a request for quote directly to the entities that have expressed interest, and see if it comes back with the best option for us.
Any other questions for the?
Do have one more if there aren't any other. If it's reasonable to explain briefly, you mentioned a circuit breaker in the change in the budget. Is that something that can be explained in a sentence or 2, or is that something I should look up on my own?
You're assuming I understand.
Just not familiar with the term.
Well,
The circuit breaker. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Can I step in here? Because the legislature several years ago, they passed a law that said that the property tax for residential houses is capped at 1% of the home's assessed valuation, and all of the entities combined together can't tax the residential property at more than 1%. So if all of the entities together have tax requests of more than 1%, then it all has to be cut back proportionally. Doesn't the total amount of tax on the house is not more than 1% of the assessed valuation of the house. And for businesses, it's 2%, and farmland is 3%. I think those are the right amounts, but the farmland has a circuit breaker amount, and businesses have a circuit breaker amount, and then residential, but residential is 1%.
That's why there was.
Farmland is 4%.
Okay, farmers, okay, thank you, I wasn't sure what it was, but it's 4%.
So in order for county and city government to continue getting more money into, what they have devised is the assessor assesses our properties at a higher rate annually, so they can have more money coming in.
And I,
Whether you like it, whether you don't, whether you're pro or whether you're not, that's.
and I do see and on my house, the tax went up quite a bit and the assessed value went up quite a bit, so I see exactly what you're saying, because that's so they can get more money. Yeah,
right.
my taxes went up about 30% on my house this year over last year.
How does that relate to second?
Well, that-
Taxes that are taken to pay for that?
The circuit breaker in essence says, you know, the assessed property value from Monroe County is, you know, it's gonna be 30-some million dollars.
Okay.
You know, 300, I don't know what, you know, but I mean, an astronomical number of things that, you know. And so, the district tax rate is generally 0.00425, somewhere in that range. So when you have that cap, that 1% cap to 4% cap, that's so that, and when you hit that cap, you know, all the taxing entities have to take a little bit of that hit. So it doesn't all fall on the city or the county, you know, it hits everybody that it gets property value.
Yeah, it's like that
And you
proportional.
can't tax above that.
Gotcha.
That's why you had an initially assessed number and then the circuit breaker reduced that amount because it's collectively higher than the maximum.
Right, and it's an estimate because, you know, not everything's done and approved yet, and so it just, you know, generally, generally they're pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, see, this was put in a number of years ago when the taxpayers were complaining about their taxes being too high, and we're going to the governor's mansion and having protests on Saturday and bringing the media along with them, and they generated a lot of publicity, and the legislatures listened, and then so then they put in this 1% and 2% and 3%, and actually it's a part of the state constitution because the voters approved these rates and amendments to the state constitution, so it's gonna be able to be very difficult to should change it so that we don't have a cap anymore, because it would have to be amended by once again by the voters approving an amendment to the state constitution. So they made it very difficult to ever change it so we can have more revenue. All we can do is have more higher assessed valuation, like I mentioned, and like happened with my house, a 30% increase over last year. So that's the only way that they can get more money.
Got it. Thank you all for the clarification.
And if you don't like it, then you have to vote in a different assessor.
Right.
That's simple.
Yeah, and our assessor has been here for a long time and is well known, so that's not too likely to happen.
I just, you know, for the record, just, you know, and I apologize, I don't have it all in front of me, but, you know, our projected tax revenue is for 2024, is in the 2.1, $2.2 million range. We also have, you know, other non-tax revenue, the host fee, fees for some of the services that we do, the sale of our orange bags, that's for 2024, about $825,000. So a $20,000 hit on the tax revenue isn't a huge deal to us in the grand scheme of things. And if we ever were to hit our expenditure projections, which historically we have not done, and the revenue all came in as projected, and we were $20,000 short. Again, just we have a $50,000 deficit budget this year. At this time, we have the cash reserves that $20,000 circuit breaker is not gonna mean anything to us in the short term.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Joe?
I actually don't also have anything in particular to report aside from rebranding items. which we-
Okay, we'll move on to the rebranding subcommittee updates.
I'll cover that one.
Please, because
Okay.
you've just been at the helm of this and you're maybe in a way. So,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so in general, we finally reached sort of a big step in the rebranding process. In having the rebranding subcommittee agree upon through a series of, or I guess, progression of iterations with the marketing company, a final set of name and logo, like a base logo. So now that that's squared, there's going to be a few variants of the logo generated for different applications, like letterhead and like wide and tall formats and things like that. But from here, we're now starting to look at the second phase of the process, which will be the announcement of the rollout and the timing and those types of things.
you want to share the latest? Is it time to share?
I don't know, probably not yet,
No, okay.
but
No, I mean, I have a meeting with attorneys scheduled for next week. I mean, we wanna, at this time, we wanna make sure we secure the rights to the name that we want before we put it out there.
That makes sense.
I mean, I go back to old enough, I remember when the Colts announced their move to Indianapolis and somebody went out and bought the rights to Indianapolis Colts, Indiana Colts, and Indy Colts. I mean, the Colts buy that from them. So.
I think that once that's complete and we've assured rights to things is when we can.
And we are, I mean, and then discussions with the subcommittee and the executive committee, it's also been determined that we were now shooting for a January 1 rollout of the full and official name change and rebranding.
So more to come on that.
Yes.
We'll see it soon.
Is it gonna be anything like Tom Alaska's baby?
Like trees.
Nightmare.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions if there are any about the process, but for now.
Thank you for putting so much thought and dedication into and leading the subcommittee along the way.
Yeah,
Helping keep us organized.
good to see.
And on top of all the different versions.
Joe has put a lot of time and effort into the rebranding process. I'm thankful these had the ability, the knowledge and expertise for some of this stuff and the time to do that. It's been a big help.
Anything else? All right, Bill. You happy to start we're going to talk about the field trip.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Anyway, with your last meeting, we had mentioned maybe taking a trip to Rumpke to see the facilities there. So I reached with our communications department and it looks like for September, if we want to go, we could do it Tuesday, 9/12 or Tuesday, 9/19. So before everybody checks their calendar, Ryan has graciously offered to send out one of her surveys. So everybody can click what days they work best. She's a little more adept at that than I am. On 9/26, that was originally one of the other available days, but now there is a large recycling consortium meeting at our corporate headquarters. The CAC is certainly welcome to go to that. That's going to be a lot of end users like International Paper, Pratt Plastics, the people that get the actual raw materials from us to discuss the state of recycling in general. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. I'll reach out to our communications team.
Now, where is your headquarters?
Like that.
Oh, Cincinnati, where we would be going?
We would be going to, in the morning, we would be going to the St. Bernard, Ohio, which is just north of Cincinnati.
Uh-huh.
And that's our giant recycling center. It's called Center City Recycling. It's you guys ever heard the term MRF? It's a material recovery facility. It is a phenomenal setup. So we would start around 9 o'clock at the MRF. We would have an educational component where they would come in and explain how the material gets to the end market, type of things it's used for, who some of our end markets are. So you see, we try to keep it a circular economy. If we pick up the recycling in Ohio, try to keep it in Ohio. If we pick it up in Indiana, we try to keep it in Indiana. We try to work with in the area that we're actually collecting materials.
Are you successful at that?
What's that?
Are you successful at doing it that way?
We're very successful at it, yeah,
So are Indiana recycling items stay in Indiana?
yeah, for the most part, yes. So it doesn't go straight there though. So like if I have 200 tons come out of Monroe Recycling Center, it goes to Cincinnati to get processed and then it comes back. The cardboard that I bale at Monroe goes straight to International Paper. It doesn't have to get processed. We bale it. It goes straight there.
And they are where? International Paper?
What's that?
Where is the International Paper's headquarters, or where the recycling goes?
International Paper is just where the cardboard goes. It's already ready to be processed.
And where is their plant or whatever?
I think they have a plant in Indianapolis.
Okay,
I'm not for sure on that though.
okay.
So we would meet at the recycling center about 9, and then they do the educational, then we'd have a tour of the actual facility. The tours are really nice. I've been on them. They're led by a man named Ben Pedigo. He's our recycling guru. He's been in the business for 40 years probably in recycling. He was on the forefront of starting recycling when it first started coming in. So he knows everything you have to know about it. He can explain all the machines, all the equipment, how it sorts it, how fast it goes, all that. After that, we would then go to our corporate headquarters. We would have lunch and another educational component about landfill operations. And then right across the street from our corporate headquarters is Rumpke Sanitary Landfill, which is our largest landfill by volume. And we do a tour of that, and they've explained how the material is processed, how the natural gas is extracted, how it is used, and things of that nature.
What time do you expect us to, what is the window of time from leaving Bloomington to coming back?
It takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to get there from here.
Okay,
And finish time would be approximately 3:30, 4, 5.
To leave, to go there or to get back?
No, to leave, to come back to vote.
Yeah, we'd probably be returning around 5, getting back in town around.
Oh, okay.
5. Yeah.
all right. We're rolling over. Do you, I guess we should consider maybe corresponding as a group via email about transportation then? Carpooling or something like that. Any other ideas about?
I do have a question, if I may. You mentioned there was a recycling consortium on the 26th.
Yes.
Would that be a completely separate event than this tour plan?
That would be, they cannot do a tour on the 26th because everyone will be at. Okay. Recycling event.
Okay, it also sounds interesting and exciting. Be a completely separate thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Opening it up, or is there any interest on doing a tour versus the consortium on the 26th?
What's more applicable to what we're doing, attempting to do as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the question I asked.
so, okay. Well. There's no other.
I think they're both rather applicable.
Right.
I don't know if one outweighs the other or not.
What I'll touch base with, going back to email, I guess, is I was looking at primarily the 12th and the 19th. If that's okay with everyone.
The consortium would more be like if you want to go to that. Then.
Gotcha. Thank you.
If we do the tour ahead of time and then you guys say, hey, I want to learn some more about the end markets, then we could schedule to have whoever that is go back on the 26th. So,
Okay, that sounds good.
and then, as I mentioned to you, once we have a date, I'll let you know if anyone from the district or the board is interested. They're more than welcome to come along as well.
I will say that don't let me drive the bus here, but I can't go on the 12th.
You don't have a bus license anyway.
How do you know?
If you did, you'd be driving it like I do.
Okay, I think the next steps are really I'll touch base with you via email and I'll kind of go from there. If that works for everyone.
Can I recap the times, just to make sure my understanding is correct? We would be leaving Bloomington around 7 AM then,
Yeah,
arriving around 9. And then leaving Cincy area around 3 and then returning to
2:30 to 3, somewhere around there, yeah.
I'm sorry, I had it backwards. I can't go on the 9th.
Okay,
Okay. Okay,
But again, no. If that's the day that works best for the majority of you all. So I'll work with Bill or Eric or somebody, I'll arrange my own tour, but it'd be nice to all go, and for the record, the CAC has appropriated money for traveling expenses, so if you all carpool down there, then in somebody's personal vehicle, that driver can reimburse for that mileage.
Also, since I'm not driving a bus.
Are you gonna supply it? I still have my yellow card.
You have access to rural transit and NCCSC school bus.
I already know the rural transit cannot take the buses out of state. I did that.
Stop at the state line?
I did that once, not knowing that we couldn't do that.
What happened?
I was going to Jeffersonville and I was coming from, I had to go pick up some people in weird places and it routed me down finally onto I-64 and then back up 65, which I did. And
We just want to know what kind of trouble you got.
What did they say?
I got reprimanded pretty heavy. And I said, you never ever told me I couldn't. Well, why? I said, well, that's how I got routed. Well, if you'd have told me I can't go to Kentucky in the bus, I wouldn't have. It got caught because that bridge has the camera for tolls. And so then the toll thing, because buses actually belong to the county commissioners.
They got
The bus fare ticket, whatever you call it, went to the county commissioners. So that's why there was trouble. So I'll not do that again with the rural transit bus. Fool me once,
are there any more comments on field trip to Cincinnati?
but I can haul 7 people in my Trailblazer if needed.
Okay,
yeah, I think we can probably include ride offers and transportation discussions once we've set on a date.
If I can make it.
okay,
Thank you both for coordinating that. I was intending to reach out over the last month and it being a busy month, and I appreciate continuing this.
yeah, this is gonna be exciting. Moving on to new business then, Joe, do you have anything for presentation planning?
Just wanted to follow up on, I know that I had mentioned that he had somebody in mind and to see if we wanted to start scheduling any specific people on specific days or if anybody else had lined anything up in the meantime.
So I spoke with Matt from Community Food Cycle. You can look up communityfoodcycle.com. They do a larger bokashi operation in New Jersey, and he's completely open to doing a presentation, introduction for us. It can take 15 minutes, it can take a half an hour, but the idea of dealing with the food waste issues that we have, this is a possible solution to that. You know, familiar with bokashi, it's fermenting food waste, and what's really great about it is you get a tea from it that you can use as fertilizer. It's turned our produce larger, sweeter, juicier, and the plant's all healthier. So it's something that if the city and the district took it on, it's something a product they can actually sell back to the community. And then the end product, the pickled food waste, you can just put that directly into compost. You can put that directly into your garden beds. Start to finish, you're talking 6 weeks to dirt to soil. So it's extremely fast.
That's something that this guy does on a large scale,
Yes.
but isn't
Yeah.
home composting
This
operation.
is not all, he's doing much larger. From what my understanding, my limited understanding is one time, he was talking about a machine that's your major capital outlay, so I'm gonna come up with some questions and some guidance for him. But I'll tell him the 21st of next month, which would be our next meeting, and I'll set him up for that if that sounds interesting to everybody.
Any questions or further discussion? We open the floor to.
Is this room big enough for what he would present?
If he's in Jersey, it'd probably be virtual.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing Zoom.
Okay.
I'll be doing that first, sorry. Clarify that. Yeah, so I'm gonna ask him costs, barriers to entry, issues with pickup, and a few other things to try and give him some guidance of what to present for us. But if you have any specific questions that you have, please, on the email communication, yeah, please.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I was also thinking, just a quick summary of what he has going on in his place as well, with like the volumes, the methodology.
Okay.
You plan to coordinate the timing for the event or for the presentation? Like in terms of the planning and arranging the virtual session and such.
What do you mean specifically with that? Joe, tech Joe.
Just,
I will ask your help with that.
right, okay, yeah, in terms of just confirming his availability and then making sure that he has all of the meeting information and such.
Okay, I'll work with you to make sure that that's done. That's okay.
To move forward on that, do we need to take a vote, Joe?
We could at least do oh gosh, I'm not forgetting the term. Like a no objection, a general consensus, to make sure that everyone has no objection to
I will do that.
having that.
Okay, so are there any objections to moving forward with inviting,
Matt from Community Food Cycle.
thank you, to do a presentation of this? I'm starting to arrange that over the next month. Hearing no objections, thank you, Matt, and we'll move forward with that and discuss it at our next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. And to our final item, Joe sent the ASWMD conference planning schedule, and I'll share that again. Was in the agenda. Good.
Yeah, the last page of the agenda. I didn't have a lot more to introduce, other than this is, I guess, our first opportunity to start talking about who would like to attend, now that we actually have the dates and the times and the rates, so that we can allocate funds for it, and register. Because normally there are early bird prices that differ from late registration. I don't know exactly when that cutoff is. Do you happen to know how much time there is for CAC?
I do, but I don't off the top of my head, but it's not tomorrow. I mean, the registration is not even open at this.
Okay,
But I just remember that last year, the CAC making the decision at their separate meeting, at their September meeting. We've missed the early bird, so. But I also, and I can, if you want to do the tour only on the Monday of Recycle for us, that's been set at $30.
Did you mention what the deadline is for early bird this year?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Right.
But it's
And I'm guessing next week's meeting is getting a little close.
next month's, that's why I sent this to Joe, because my recollection from last year was that the decision was made at the September meeting and we did not get the early bird rates registrations.
Okay.
I don't need decisions today, but talk about it today, and then if I think,
You're talking about for Monday, October 2nd?
that's the tour, I mean, you can see from the schedule up there, the Monday, the first day of the conference is generally geared toward the district educators. They generally will have a facility tour or a presentation that is more applicable to, all of us that are interested in solid waste districts and their business, but the first part of that day is geared toward the district educators, and if it's of interest to you, or I mean, the CAC would certainly be welcome to attend any of those. But it's the second day that's more the nuts and bolts of the conference. And
you have one related thought, if I may, with respect to the registration and funding. Would we need to approve the expenditure before we can actually register it? Because that would actually need to be done at a meeting. I presume that would be the process.
well, I mean, I think that there's $1,000. You have $1,000 appropriation for training and education, which would be what the registration fees would come out of. So you could, tonight, do a generic approval of up to 4 members to attend, or if you're doing both days, the 275 would be not quite four members. I think if there's enough members that want to go and you're going to exceed that $1,000, the district could probably help cover the difference, a few $100s.
Okay.
But I think it would be fine to go ahead and just kind of generically approve using those funds for whatever members want to attend the conference.
Maybe a good preliminary question, since we are all here, is, are there already definitive answers? For if we can go around, and if everybody can say either like yes and what they would like to attend, or if they need more time, we can at least have a ballpark of who's planning on going and not going. And that helps with the maybes is if that's reasonable, unless this is too soon for everyone to decide.
I would be interested in attending again this year.
Okay, both days.
Yeah, if that's not pushing it, if it does get a little, I know that there's a little bit of room, but if it's only one day, the October 3rd is fine, because I know there's a hotel built into that, unless I wouldn't want to come back.
Well, and you have $500 appropriated for travel expenses.
Yeah.
Mileage reimbursement and lodging. Of course, we didn't talk about the trip to Cincinnati, but again, barring something unforeseen, I think, the district's in a position right now to help you make up any overages you might have in either of those lines.
I would be interested in both days.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I would be interested in at least Tuesday. If Monday is financially possible, that's fine, but not Tuesdays.
Brian, you need to scroll down just a little bit.
No, I was trying over here. It's
Zoom out.
all right.
You can zoom out on the share that you're displaying.
We can't see the session that is of interest to all the CAC.
Should be on.
Or the on-screen display.
It's, there you go. There you go.
There we go, guys.
Yeah, so there's an afternoon session, second day of, again, this is from a district perspective.
Tom wanted to make sure you could see his and Joe's names.
So it's dealing with your board and CAC, and Joe has graciously agreed to help facilitate, moderate that session.
So
It's gonna be great.
That said, your registration is probably covered.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Well, I doubt that I would be able to attend, especially if I'm going to be doing something in September.
I would also like to attend both days if possible, which would make carpooling possible for me then.
okay, is there any other interest?
Have to get back to the
Okay. I'll put a question on your names, but are there any well, I guess Do we need for, and I'm sorry, guys, right? But we need to move forward with the vote for the funding,
Yeah, I think I will.
the general approval for that.
Can I offer, because I think this will work, I think a motion to approve conference attendance for all members who wish to attend, assuming that the district will transfer the funds necessary to cover any exceedance of your appropriation. And then I will let you know tomorrow if we can commit to that.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure.
So you're making the motion?
No,
Is there a member that-
I can't make the motion.
I didn't think so.
But I'm saying, but I think that's, and to make it to cover everything that could possibly happen. That's, and in that way, if everybody wants to go. And I'm, like I said, 99% sure we can find $500-600 to move over to cover that difference. But that, a motion along those lines would approve the expenditure, the $1,000 expenditures and let anybody that's interested in going go.
Are there any members interested in opening the floor, making a motion? Or
If Tom will write it out, I'll make it.
I make a motion for what he said.
And I second what he said.
Conference attendance to all members who wish to attend, assuming the district will transfer the funds necessary to cover the exceedance of the appropriation from the CAC's allocated funds.
that's right.
Closed captioning is a great thing, isn't it?
Thank you.
Motion second. Is there any discussion?
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on our next steps as we move this forward for funding and approvals for the district? Hearing none, we'll open the floor to the vote, or there is, that was actually the vote itself, that was, since there was no objection, but there, no discussion. Is there any objection?
We can do a voice vote for this.
Yeah, voice vote for that motion.
Because you're talking about spending money, there should be
I see.
an actual
Okay.
vote taken.
Okay, then I'll open the floor to a vote, formal vote on moving forward to see if there's enough funding from the district for as many members to attend the conference.
Will a voice vote be sufficient, Tom, since we're not in a hybrid?
Because, yeah, nobody's online.
You can just do it all in favor and those opposed, vote for the motion.
Okay, all in support? All opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. All right, sorry. Stay off here, go back to slide. Agenda. No. There we go. Okay. All right, just. Sorry, guys. I'm pulling up the agenda. That was our last item for the evening. Is there anything else that anyone else would like to bring to the members' attention?
Did you have a discussion before I walked in about the cleanup?
No, actually, I do need to talk about that a little bit. So I did send an email out earlier today. And Saturday morning, for 2.5 hours on August 26th, Saturday, August 26th. 8:30 to 10. Double check here. Yeah, sorry, guys. But I did send an email out. We did get one person who confirmed that they would be able to attend. And if there's any other interest on that, I'm going to be sending out another email just to see just give me your name, other than that doodle poll, so I'll send that out next week.
I will not be able to.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be.
I've got Special Olympics softball tournament that
Yeah.
day.
That's what I thought. Just, is there a show a hand of anyone who? I will be available, I'll probably be bringing my husband, so I have a third hand,
Our spouses, okay,
yeah, families
The
allowed,
only issue would be children under 16.
okay.
so yeah.
If they're 14, just tell them they're 16, you know, I'll be fine.
I am also available.
Not really.
Can respond to the email if that helps you for organizational purposes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So our time slot is actually 8 to 10:30, Saturday, August 26th. So, yeah, just look out for an email from me. Thank you guys for your patience. We've been going through this and, yeah, well.
If we're bringing anyone, we should know that now, so we know for supply.
Just let me know, yeah, we have only so many, I mean, we should have plenty of, supply from the district, but just so everyone can count, that'll help. Yeah,
So I gotta make sure I'm on the 25th, because I'm running on the 26th, is that what you're telling me?
if that happens. So be it.
But I'll still have a Special Olympics softball tournament, whether it rains or not.
But that was.
For 3 of our teams. For Monroe County.
Are there any other questions about the road? No? Okay,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
putting it together.
Absolutely, absolutely. That'll be a good chance for us to spend some time to get outside of these rooms, so I'm looking forward to it. That was the only other item. Are there any other items that members have to bring to the table?
Just to point out, the Climate Leadership Summit on September 8th, registration closes August 25th. Yeah.
So what was that against?
It's Climate Leadership Summit.
Ah, yeah.
Charter, Indiana.
Yes.
September 8th, 9 to 5 p.m. The registration is something good.
And, thank you. Anything else tonight?
I just have one, if I can find it. I apologize, I didn't think to forward this on to the CAC when I got it. But IDEM is hosting a webinar on they're hosting a roundtable on food waste collection and composting on August 30th.
2 to 3:30.
Yeah,
30th, you said?
yes.
You know, Wednesday, August 30th, it could be 3:30 p.m.
From what time?
2 to 3:30.
Thank you.
I will find the email and I will forward that on to the CAC so that anyone that's interested can register.
I might be able to actually attend that. It's supposed to be off that day.
I guess it's organics waste collection and not pertinent to one of our issues that we're trying to tackle.
Any other items tonight? Looking, NCGTSD on Zoom. Did you know?
Monroe County Tech Services. That's the tech services.
Oh, track
part.
services, okay, thank you. So,
They just help to manage the Zoom portion of the meeting.
thank you.
Commented so far.
Seeing no one from the public here, this will be our last item, and our meeting is adjourned for the evening at 6:25 p.m. Thank you for your time, everyone, and your patience. Yeah.
Thank you for facilitating.